hope you all are doing good. From today onwards, we're going to start off with the lessons, and we're not going to spend much time on the talking and the introduction part because I think that's pretty well over in the last two videos. So, yeah, let's get started. We'll start off with Python, okay? So, let's start. All right. So, before we jump into the session, I would like to clear out certain myths that is there, right? The very first thing that we hear a lot is that to start programming or to start coding, you need to have a very sophisticated machine, you know, but you don't. I personally do not have a very sophisticated machine. Most of you who are watching the video might have a better machine than mine, right? Let me show this to you. This is my system configuration, right? You can see it's basically, I think it's way too small, na? Uh, okay, okay, no worries. Let me show this to you in a different way. Yeah, so you can see it's basically a 8 GB RAM system, right? You most of you have a better than that. I am working with the i3 processor. Okay, so it's a HP laptop with i3 processor, and like I'm quite sure that most of you have a better system than mine, right? So do not think about this that if I have a lower end system, how would that look, right? So let's not focus on that. Okay. Second, uh, we need to have a lot of softwares in my system to just to start writing the code. You don't. To start off with, first of all, I will show you a particular process in the help of which you can simply code without downloading any software. Down the line, definitely we'll get into VS Code and other softwares download, but at this point of time, we'll use a particular section called Google Colab, right? It comes along with Google. If you have a Gmail account, I think most of you have. It comes inbuilt. Okay, so let me show this to you. You go to your browser, you simply type Colab. Okay, it will come up like this. If you open this up, you see it will open a page like this, right? I will go ahead and I will click on new notebook, and a notebook is being opened up. Let me know if this is large enough for you to see the screen. Okay, all right. So I'll just name it. Let's say lesson one. Okay, now this is a platform where you can write your code very easily. And let me begin with something. Let me close this up. Yeah. This is a cell that is called a input cell, right? That simply means you can pass your input here and you will get your output just down below. Okay. So let's start off with the very famous hello world printing. So you can simply type in print, then you can open a parenthesis and you can write hello world. Okay. Then you have this play button over here. If you click on this, to run. It is running, you can see it is connecting to the Python. Yeah, you can also see it is Python 3 with Google Compute Engine as a backend, right? This RAM and disk that you are seeing, this is basically Google Colab's memory. Okay, it's not my system's memory that is in there. Okay, and see it is printed. Okay, so this is the first line of code that you have written. I mean, I'm assuming that you are fresher to this, you do not have any experience into that. So if you simply type in this, you will get output cell that is called hello world because you have given the string statement, I mean the written statement inside of that, right? Clear till now? All right. Now, like every single workflow that we have in our life, there are certain rules, right? So when you go to, let's say, a football ground to play football, there are certain rules that you need to have football shots, you need to have spikes or something like that to play, right? In the same way, in the world of programming, there are some rules, okay? The very first thing that we are going to talk about, okay? Let me also rename this. Let me call this variables, okay? This is going to be a lesson one. Now, what are variables? Variables are basically containers. Okay, so what I'll do, I will write everything here as well. If you click on this text, okay, it will allow you to write text inside your notebook as well. That's very useful. Okay, so let's say I want to write variable details, something like that. This would be my heading, right? So the very first thing are my rules. The very first rule, variable is a container. That means it holds something, right? Container is what? Like if you talk about a rice container, it holds rice, right? If you talk about, let's say, a container that holds dal or whatever is there, it contains that particular element, right? Container that hold values, okay? So let's say the way we have read about, a equals to 10, b equals to 20 in our math days, it's the same thing. In here, a is going to be treated as a variable and 10 is going to be its values, right? Now, naming of the variables are very important. You cannot name a variable with a reserved keyword. Now, next question that can pop up in your head is that what is a reserved keyword? Well, a reserved keyword are fixed set of Python keywords or Python, let's say, words that we have that are reserved for different functionalities within the programming language, right? You cannot use that as a variable name. I'll show you whatever the variable names, I mean the reserved keywords that we have, okay? But before that, let's go with another rule. The variable name cannot begin with a number, special character, okay, like dot or something like that, okay. It must start with either text or an underscore, okay. Now these are the rules that we have heard about. Now let's see how this implies. The very first thing that I want to show you that what are the reserved keywords that we have in place, okay. So to get the reserved keyword, what we need to do, we need to check whatever we have, right? And for that, we have a beautiful library called keyword, okay? And now what is this import and keyword thing? And what is this library thing? Okay. So what are basically libraries? Libraries are containers of multiple books at once, right? You go into a library, you pick the particular book that you want. Let's say you want to read a detective story, right? You go into the section of detective and let's say you pull up a Sherlock Holmes, you pull up a Agatha Christie, books like that, right? In the same way, Python also contains huge chunk of libraries from which you can derive the required function that you want. Right now, what do I want? Right now, I simply want to see all the keywords that we have present in Python, the reserved keywords, right? And for that, where these things are stored, these things are stored in the keyword library, right? So we are importing the library. Understand? Import keyword. Keyword is the library from where we are importing this, right? Done. It is imported. You can see there is a green tick signal. That means it is already imported. Okay. Now, if we simply this keyword dot kw list, okay, okay, sorry, there should not be a parenthesis in here. Yeah, now you can see these all are reserved keywords: false, none, true, and, is, assert, async, await, break, class, continue, and all. Okay, so if you go in here, let's say I want to write up a comment. This is how you write comment inside a cell, okay? So one more thing. Here, this entire cell is where I have written text, right? But what if you want to write text and code in the same block of cell? At that particular point of time, you can use something called comment, okay? So here, with the help of this hash, I am writing up a comment, okay? So here, I'll just write wrong variable names, okay? Because right now whatever I'm going to put, those will be wrongs. Okay, so let's say I want to provide this false as a variable name, sorry, and if I want to give up a value 10, okay, and then if you try to print, it will give you an error, cannot assign to false, right? So one condition is understood now. You cannot name a variable with a reserved keyword, right? Now, let's say the variable name cannot begin with a number, special character like dot. Okay, so let's also understand that. I'm again using wrong variable name. Okay, let's not type it. Yeah. So let's say 29 JP, whatever is there, right? And I try to assign a value. Then I'm trying to print this 29 JP. It's not going to work. Okay, you cannot work with that. Again, let's try to do something else. Let's try to put up a variable name with a dot. Again, you try to print it. You cannot. Now see the right ways. Okay. Name a variable. Now AB equals to 10. CD equals to 20. Okay. Or let's say if I want to use underscore EF equals to 30. Now if you want to print AB, it's printed. If you want to print CD, it's printed. If you want to print EF, it's printed. Well enough, right? So I think this confusion is clear. No more doubts here, right? That how we can rightly name a variable and what are the mistakes that we should avoid. Okay, this is how you name a variable. Okay. Now, you guys might think that I am taking 10-13 minutes only to make you understand about variables, but this is where I want to take things slow, right? I want to explain every single thing in detail. There would be multiple videos that is going to come along on the same topic. I will go into depth. I will make you understand with as easy example as I can, and I will try to keep the video short, even if the content that is being delivered is in depth, but of a single content, right? So that things are clear to you. That's my primary motive. I am just doing this to share whatever I have gained to with all of you, right? So so I'll keep it till here. It's simply a variable naming. I am starting off slow. Gradually, when we come along, we'll learn about more and more things, and then we will take things a little bit speedy way. Okay. And one more thing, every single notebook that I am creating, In the comment section of the video, I'll pass on a link of that particular Google Drive where you can access the particular file itself, right? And you can also download it and you can try the coding all by yourself as well. If you write the code and if you try to execute in your own system with your Google Colab, if you get into a new notebook and type in all of these things, you will see these things are working as it is, right? And if in certain scenario you see that things are not working, you can definitely get back to me in the comments and I will be sure to reply to all of you. Okay? All right. So let's call it a day. Thank you.